Good afternoon. I know most of y'all in here. Y'all biased, so I don't really count y'all. I feel like y'all biased. Everybody work with me, and they've been helping me. I'm gonna say my name. My name Dontae Sharpe. I'm employed at Forward Justice. Uh, I did a life sentence. I did 26 years on a life sentence for something I didn't do, for murder I didn't commit. I was exonerated in 2019. I was pardoned 2 years later, and now I'm in the process of waiting on a civil suit that I had that's in the process. I've been in shock every time I go to something, I'm in shock that I'm here. And I hear everybody talking about, they've been doing this for 10 years, 20 years, and I see some of the elders, and, they were talking about the ancestors a lot today. I don't really think about my ancestors. I try to think about the people that still here and breathing, because my ancestors are doing better than me now, because they ain't got to be here in this physical body going through all this hell that we go through every day. And I try to give flowers and glory and, honor the people that's still here with me, that's still helping me, that's still working beside me. And I'm just thankful for Caitlin and Forward Justice and all the staff and everybody at Forward Justice. I don't know whether to call them family, friends, or babysitters, because that's what I feel like all of them be with me at times. But I be thankful every time sometimes I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I don't want to come, because sometimes I just told Brittany to be careful, because I might start crying and get to answering some of the questions, because I'm still raw and emotional in a lot of areas, because a lot of this stuff is new to me as a man. I just been dealt with by God the other morning in the mirror, and I've been home 6 years, and he popped it in my mind that the number 6 is the number of man, the day he created man. And he let me know this my 6th year out, that it's time for me to, when he created Adam on the 6th day, his first thing he did was gave him work, and the work is a purpose, and a man ain't a man without his purpose. So he let me know I'm 6 years, it's time for me to start walking in my purpose as a man. And it just popped in my head in the mirror, and I called Wanda. And I said, "Babe, you won't believe what God just popped in my head." And it's in the mirror, brushing my teeth early in the morning. And it just popped. That's how he do with me anyway. That's how we do. And so coming here and hear about it, talking about, dreaming and looking towards the future and what you're gonna do. And because I've really been confused lately with a lot of things. I really have. I've been confused. I've been in shock. I feel a little let down too, but my letdown, I think, is more of me having high expectations for people, organizations, and things. But Brittany, that's enough, and I'm gonna let you get to the question.
All right. I do want to just take a quick minute and do a popcorn around the room if you want to share your name, where you're from, and maybe just one word that comes to your mind or a word or two that comes to your mind when you think about either freedom or purpose. I'm gonna start with Caitlin because you look like you're ready. I'm gonna toss it to you, and then we can popcorn it from there.
I'm Caitlin, and just one word that comes to my mind when I think about purpose right now. One word that comes to my mind when I think about purpose right now is love.
Good afternoon. I'm David Neal. I'm from Winston-Salem, and liberation is what comes to mind because I think that goes beyond freedom.
So I'm Erin Dale. I live in Raleigh, and I work for the Partnership Funds. I'm also the president of Fertile Ground Food Cooperative, which is a volunteer role that I love so much. And when I think about freedom, I actually think about pleasure and joy, be able to access it endlessly. Yeah, without shame.
I'm Al McShirley. And when I think about freedom, I think about my grandchildren.
Hi, I'm Alex Teixeira. I'm currently based in Durham. I'm a facilitator and leadership coach and mother. And when I think about purpose, I think about being open to hearing the call.
Hi, my name is Demola. When I think of purpose, I think of alignment. There's a sense of ease when it comes to what you're meant to do. And whenever you don't do it, there's a bit of pushback, there's a bit of resistance. So I think a lot about ease and alignment when I think about purpose.
I'm Erin. I'm Caitlin's sister, and so, and Al's daughter. And I would just want to echo that when Dad said he was thinking about his grandchildren, and I think it's nice to just be thinking about the next generation. It's happening.
Hey everyone, I'm Ileana, and I'm in the process of building my own organization, Brava NC. And when I think about my purpose, I think about innovation and experimentation, because what we've been doing hasn't been working, so we gotta just keep on trying new things.
My name is Saeem from Pitt County. Work with Black Voters Matter. When I think about purpose, what comes to me is prayer, because sometimes it can be hard to know your purpose. There's so much you can do, right? So for me, I try my best to rely on prayer to find my purpose.
I'm Gaynell. I am the Executive and Special Assistant at Forward Justice. And when I think about freedom, the word that comes to mind is inevitable.
J. Anthony Holbert. So I work at Forward Justice with Dontae Sharpe and Brittany. Glad to be here. When I think of purpose, after watching Pixar's Soul, I found out that purpose is not a destination. It is how you live every day, and I think that really helped me to ground myself in what I've been chasing. And I typically don't do this, but after Alinda, we're still going to pass it to Ramisha, because I think she does have something to say on this topic.
I don't even know what's going on. I just got here.
I'm like, oh, Linda, I just got here. My name is Ramisha, and I work with Forward Justice. I am our Director of People and Culture. When I think about freedom, I do think about our next generation. I think about my children. I think about ease. And I think about how I want them to be able to kind of like move through the world. So, yeah.
Peace. And picking up, I guess, where you left off, I'm Trell. I'm from Fayetteville, but I live in Greensboro now. I'm on the staff of the Beloved Community Center, and I'm the Western Regional Organizer. So I organize the western half of the state for Beloved Community Center, and my name is Trell.
What do you think about with purpose?
With purpose? Freedom for me represents maybe a world without borders or bars, really. A world where all people can come in, love each other the way I know they really intend to, but sometimes are hindered from because of this system we live within. So, yeah, I think freedom represents the opportunity to really love each other unhindered.
Okay. I'm Olinda. And what I think about freedom is continuing the work that my grandmother did, because she was every time I hear the word the help of the book, I think of my grandmother because she is one of the members of the help. And what was the other question? Oh, my purpose? My purpose is to continue the freedom, because I believe we should not skip that one generation, raise my children as well as involvement in the community church and NAACP, and they are also continuing with their children. My purpose.
I don't know where this goes.
I'm gonna respond to the purpose question. I think my purpose, well, I know now my purpose is to journey in this life, and it is to journey to find, to make sure I find my place in my path. But it's that journeying is where I'm gonna find the purpose, and so I'm working and living in that journey. And I'm Ashley with Forward Justice.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you. So now we are going to turn it back to Dontae. I have to, okay, all right, okay. Well, when I think of freedom, I think of the fact that it is my birthright. It is all of our birthrights. And when I think of purpose, I think my purpose is kind of like Ashley said, is to journey towards that freedom. That's it. Because none of us are free until we're all free, right? And so that's important.
And I'm going to say something about freedom, because as everybody was talking, a lot of times that's where I get stuff when I hear people talking. It's never ending. That's what I think about freedom. It's like when you get free from something or you free somebody else or something, it's always somebody else or even myself. I noticed that when I get freed from some, I guess, stronghold, the Bible called one of them, or when I get free from something, it's something else I got to get free from. Then it's something else. Then it's something else. And then it's somebody else. And what keep me on other people is I get a lot of calls from guys in prison that I try to help. And it's like it's never ending. That's what I just keep coming to me about freedom. We think that like when the slaves were set free, and then they had to be set. And look how long it took, and to different levels of freedom. It's just always continuous. So that's what I see about it. It's never ending. Well, excuse me, it's ended once we leave here. But as far as we're here, I believe it's just never ending. Freedom is never ending. That's one aspect I believe is of it. It's never ending.
It's perfect. It's perfect. That's perfect. So my initial question, we touched on it a little bit, was just asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your story. I think most of us are familiar, but is there anything else that you want to share with us about how you ended up here with us in this moment?
I'm gonna make this part quick. Well, I was at Harnett County, I think it was 2007, and I met this young college girl that came with, really I met about 5 young college girls, and they came to see me from Duke University, and I clicked with one of them. I mean, it was something I said and something she said, and we just clicked, and that's how the process began. She ran back and told her professor them, and then both of her professors came to see me, and we all talked, and after that, they said they weren't gonna stop until they brought me home. And when they brought me home, the professor was Teresa Newman and Jim Coleman, and the young girl was Caitlin Swain. And we all agreed they agreed with me that they weren't gonna stop fighting until I came home. Then when I came home, they took me by the hand, Caitlin, Ashley, Daryl, Jay, Ramisha, Brittany. They had already formed Forward Justice. Caitlin promised me a job, an office, a position, asked me to come. I came, I got out, and I'm still in shock at this moment that I'm actually doing this right here, because I was on the other side for so long, and just to be around people like Al and see Al, man, he talking about his age a lot, and still be fighting. That's why freedom never ends, that he's still fighting, and so we ended up, I took the job, had my office for the first time. They babysit me. Everybody at Forward Justice helped me walk, taught me how to walk out here, first apartment, taught me how to talk out here, taught me how to, they helped me with every aspect of my life. And without them, I wouldn't have got to this point, because it's been some real hard downs and it's been some real high ups, but it's been some real lows. And I can call or text them and talk to them. But that's how we got here, though. I met Caitlin, Teresa, and Jim, and a couple other students. Caitlin the only one that stuck. She the only one that stuck. So, and she stuck with me. She's over all these years and changed my view of people, because being in prison a lot, it'll make you start hating people, because you see so much evil more than you see good 24/7 in there with the system, the people that's running the system, the officers, and your peers, the other inmates or felons, the other people in there. And it's like most people, 90-something% of them are just always into, just be real, into evil stuff, and you'll start hating people. And I had started hating and not trusting people. Still got trust issues now. But Caitlin and a lot of other people helped me get over that. Because once I seen them sacrifice, and every time I come to one of these events and see, Al, he should be able to retire. Miss Olinda. Some of us should be able to kick back, but you can't. And that time that y'all giving up out of your life to come and fight for me and a lot of other people and all the rights of people, you can't get it back. So to me, now I can see you give me some money, that ain't nothing. You can make that back. But that time, I've been trying to figure out a way to get back time, to see really, and you cannot get that back. So you see people sacrifice their time to come to you, even talk to you on the phone, because they got other stuff they could be doing with their time that's theirs. And once it's gone, it's over with. So I'm real grateful for that. And Brittany, go ahead. I'm about to start.
This is good. This is good. It feels. I'm trying not to tear up. I can't look at Caitlin. Can't look at Dontae. So I'm gonna get through it. So you mentioned earlier being out now and being on the other side of it. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like, right? So now you're home and now you're in a position where you're advocating for others. We were out there advocating for you to get your pardon, and you're like, hey, wait, it's not just me, right? It's Glenn Edward Chapman. It's other people who deserve the same support that I got. So can you talk a little bit about what it feels like now to be advocating for others while you're navigating your own journey and your own reentry? What's that been like?
It's been, to be honest, I try to be straight up. It's been disappointing. It's been like hell. A lot of, starting out, I don't want to talk about my family. The family issue is way, is first thing I noticed when I came home. Family, the way I was raised, is not family like it was. I was used to people getting together all the time, and if you got in something, your whole family was there. That's what my family was known for, and things like that. And always getting together and being there for. And now when I got out and I seen so much division, not only in my family but in all the family, it really shocked me. That's one of the most shocking thing that I saw that affected me the most was seeing how not just my family, but all families are not like they used to be, either too busy, caught up in their own self. And when you in a family, once you get married and have kids and start building your own little family or kingdom or your own world, that's a responsibility. You can't take that light. That's raising up people to little kids. You raising up people to be the next, to step up and be the next good people in the world and the communities and to do things. It's a real big responsibility. I saw that when I got out and got released and saw my grandkids and saw how they looked to me. Granddaddy, my granddaddy said this, my granddaddy said that, my granddaddy. And I cried every time they would say granddad. I'd drop them off to school. I cried. I cried a lot, and I done lost my train of thought now. Just think about them, because I got a lot of drama going on with that and my daughter going back to family. But me being out and doing the work and doing what I'm doing and being on this side, it's really been hell up and down for me, not wanting to come to some of the things Caitlin and them contact me about, just to be honest. Because a lot of time I be so raw and emotional when I leave from talking about it, because I got over the hate and stuff like that and unforgiveness and stuff. But once I start talking about it and the people, my faces start popping in my mind, imagining them and seeing them, then I got to go through and fight off all them emotions all over again with that hate. Because hate is real. The first time I ever realized I hated, that I could hate, when I was in prison. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I never knew hate. all the issues in the streets when I was in the world. I thought I hated people. I thought I hated my daddy for not being there. I experienced hate and it scared me because what I felt, not what I saw, or it's just what I felt. I felt dark on the inside. And I cried on the phone. I said, I don't want to feel this. I say, this is something I never felt before. I said, I do not want to be dark on the inside. And the place that I was in, it will make you like that if you don't fight. So since I've been on this side here, it kind of cleared up a lot of, I guess, misgivings or misunderstandings that I had, or it helped me heal some of the traumas, like I say, by seeing all of y'all when I was sitting there today, and every time I go speak, just to see that it's still some good, righteous, upstanding, great, sacrificial, beautiful souls and people are still out here in the world. Not perfect. You notice I ain't use perfect because I know that, but mature, but wise, but strong, you know. And I really do take my hat off to any and everybody that do this work. And I'm learning my way. I'm trying to find my purpose. I'm even wondering if this is what I'm supposed to be doing at this moment, because I don't want to be doing everything and then find myself doing nothing, you know. And because you ain't got but one life, and I can't come back and say, let me try it again. Now I know on my deathbed, let me try it. God, can you give me? But I can't get that. You know, I got to find out now.
You just talked about how difficult it was being in there and carrying those emotions and being in that space. How did you stay grounded and hopeful in that space in the face of such infuriating and difficult circumstances? What helped you get through?
Let me see. God first, Jesus Christ, the Bible. I immersed myself in education. I said I'm going to learn everything. I told my mom, I said, if I got to go in there, I'm going to learn everything I can and try to change as much as I can about myself. I'm going to take advantage of it. My mother and my aunt came to see me, probably 90-something%, never hardly missed a weekend. Caitlin and Teresa, Jim, Jamie, Al, they visited me a lot. They talked on the phone to me. My faith was the main thing, because when Caitlin and them leave and my mama and them leave, it was just me and the situation. And that's when I had to really lean. I told God, I said, man, you know what? I'm sick of hearing about you. I'm going to see if you real or not. That's what I told him. And in that situation, I leaned and dug in and actually met God, and it actually changed me, because if it wasn't for him, I would not be sitting here right now talking to y'all and making it. Now, they make it through there perfect, but I made it through there unscathed. And he showed me that I was going to make that the day that I went to trial, and I told my mom. But God is the main thing that and I know God is the main thing that brought them, all of them in my life. I know it was God that touched their heart. And the things that he showed me when I was in there, it really just my faith in believing it and stepping out and actually trying him. Because he say tasting, test me. That word taste got a lot of different definitions in the Hebrew. And and one of them is like test me. Test me to see if I'm good then. I ain't say test me to see if I'm bad, or test me if I'm not what I say I am. Just test me to see if I'm good. And that's what I did. And I saw a lot of stuff, and I said, hold up now, God, that don't look good. You did that, and that looked bad, you know. But overall, I don't know how nobody else's faith is, but that's what kept me. And the things that he showed me, and the change, see, the process started in there. It's still going on now. It's just to a mature level now. I'm going through a lot of healing, deliverance right now as we're speaking. I'm being cleansed. Sometimes I can actually feel it. And I can hear him say stuff just like the other day. He cleared up something to me about my family, something that bothered me the most. And it was like, I was talking to Wanda about it, and I said, you know what? I said, I'm tired of this with my family and all this drama and all this using me and calling me for money and calling me and this and that. And I walked in the mirror, and by me knowing the word from studying that Bible and reading and studying and reading Bible classes, Bible courses, Bible college, graduating, and it said, soon I walked in that bathroom mirror again. It's like when I got in the mirror, it's like you looking at the man in the mirror. You are You the one that can solve this because I put it in you to solve your problem. All of your answer to your problem is in you. Because he always take me to that mirror. Now, that just came to me right then as I'm talking right here. That's why I was saying, why am I always getting the answers in the mirror? And the answer just came as I'm talking to y'all. Because he's saying the man in the mirror. That's how he deals with me. As I talk, he clear up stuff that I done in the past. But I was in the mirror and it came to me just as plain. I was talking about people using me and trying to, and he just flashed across my mind. It wasn't like a booming voice. It's just like a thought, and it flashed across my mind. I'm used to that because that's how he did me all the years. And when it flashed across my mind, and then I know it was him too because I didn't want to hear it. Because he usually the opposite of how I'm feeling. And this is what I seen. It was a man, the number 6, we go back to the man. When he created man, people in the family dynamic, what do a man represent? The man represent him. He said he'll supply all your needs. It ain't no different than me asking God, you said you'll supply all my needs. He let me know that my brother, my family members, look to me as the head for protection, for providing. They only doing what's in them. They don't know that they using me. They doing what I created them to do, just like you doing what I created you to do. But they don't know, but you know. See, now I'm responsible for that, so I can't be mad at them no more because I know they doing something that's been placed in every human being from Adam to be able to see and go to the authority figure that they see, the person that they look to, that they look up to. They know that they don't know because they're lost. I'm not lost anymore. I know now because of the other day, what he showed me in the mirror is that they're coming for what I put in you. That's what that is. I got to change your perspective. And that's what he did when he told me that they're coming for what a man is supposed to do. Provide, protect. I used to know all the P's, but it's been a long time. But I know the provide part and the protect. And my family do come to me for that stuff. They even said, we don't know what happened to you. You see? It's because they the ones got the issues. And he let me know, I fix you. They're not fixed yet. But they're coming to you, so he had to change my perspective so that he can heal the situation. So now I got to go home and kind of apologize because I know now how I've been treating them. I wasn't wrong because I really didn't know. I thought it was because they were using me. And he let me know they're not using you. They're trying to come to you because of what you got in you. It looked like it's because of the money or the little part of money and things like that, but it's because of what I put in every man to provide. The woman, what they in the house, look to the man for the really, according from the Bible, from the beginning, the protecting, the providing, all of that was looked to. They look to the male figure in there. Now, we got women that do that now. Shouldn't really have to do it, really, to keep it, unless she wants to. Unless she wants to. You know, but that's it. I'm going to go for that because.
Look, I'm following your lead. We are going wherever you take us, wherever you and the Spirit take us in this space.
Y'all got me running my mouth.
That's right. So we've talked a little bit about, you know, how we got here, where you've been. Now that you're home, now that you're advocating for us, what else does living really mean to you now that you're home and you're on this journey? What does that mean?
Well, one, just being around y'all again down there today, it came to me when we were talking about life and people talking about living and doing this and doing that, and we got all this other stuff in life that we have, that we work for, that we do, you know, we like to do. But I'm seeing now that you got, the only way you can live, you got to, I'm gonna say this right. You got to help others. That is a big part of living a real, true life, not wasted, is to help others. That got to be a big part. I heard it before, I heard it, but now the reality, because I see what you get from it. You know, you get a lot of satisfaction when you know you're liberating people and setting people free. I actually feel that. So when I was sitting in there today, that's what came to me about life. I said, okay, I heard it, I knew it, but now it's reality once you hear everybody stating all the work that they're doing and you see it. Because me, like I told Caitlin, I'm like a sponge and I'm like a baby. Still, I'm not crawling anymore because I've been home 6 years. And but I still don't hold a bucket of 26 years of that life. But I'm, with the help of everybody that's around me and coming to function like this, I'm maturing in the right way. Because my biggest fear was in life, it wasn't death when I was young. My biggest fear was being a bum or nobody, doing nothing with my life. Because my mom, the way she raised us, I always knew you ain't gonna have but one. But it got cemented in my mind when I caught that life sentence. And God had to correct me on that. I said, why you allow me to get this life? We fussing, I'm fussing. He said he gave me life to give me life. And he let me know, you got life. Yeah, you got life. I gave you life. So he let me know. I said, so the way I was living in the street, he said he saved my life with that life. Because that's what God do. He can't give you death, he give you life. Everything he do point to life. Everything dealing with life. And that's why I'm on that now.
Ooh, this is a moment of round of applause for Dontae, y'all. For real. For real. We going to church, we getting advice. This session feels really full. So thank you for coming into this space and sharing with us. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. You recently had a big milestone. You turned 50. That's right. What was that milestone like? What did it mean to you, to your family, to be in community and celebrate that special day? And what is it like now being home and knowing that you have your runway left?
First, I want to apologize for preaching to y'all because I ain't trying to do that. I'm just telling y'all how I learned, how I survived, how I made it. That's all I'm doing. That's it. But anyway, this is what I said when I turned 50. I said, I made it. That's what I told Wanda. I sung that song, that gospel song. I made it. I said, I made it. Because I was told I wasn't going to live to be 21 one time by somebody there. And I said, boy, I need to see him so I can tell him. But he was right to a degree because of the direction I was going. But turning 50 really woke up a lot of stuff in me. When I first came home, Caitlin and them was like, you got to have 401k, insurance. I'm not used to all that. When I went to prison, I was 17 years old. When I got locked up, I was 17 years old. So I got to start. Then all of that was cool. But when they mentioned the will, I said, hold up now. I just got resurrected, just came back from the dead, in prison in that tomb, and now I got to sit down and talk about a will. I ain't talking about that right now. I'm trying to focus on life and living. I didn't want to hear nothing about no death, dying, will, none of that type. Colonoscopy, what? Definitely not. I ain't want to hear about that or nothing. I said, what? You got to go to the doctor once a year. You got to do all that. I'm like, and my mama said, boy, you 44 years old. I said, okay. Fast forward, I turned 50. And when I turned 50, it's like the reality hit like, dang, you got more time behind you than you have in front of you. And I said, and the reality really hit me. It kind of scared me. More time behind me than I got in front of me. I didn't know whether to be grateful or ungrateful. I knew whether to be grateful, but I didn't want to feel like I was being ungrateful to still be here and still be 50, because I know a lot of people that they midlife was 25 because they didn't live to see what I had. I knew some people midlife was 10 years old because they died at 20. So that's how I looked at it. I said, damn. So my midlife is 50, so I'm must gonna live to be 100. healthy 100, healthy enough 100. And but when it hit me, it kind of scared me. And I said, Wanda, you think I'm having a midlife crisis? And I talked to Caitlin and my counselors, all my counselors at Forward Justice, one day in a meeting. I said, man, and when I went to a meeting at the office, I said, is this a midlife crisis? And then God let me know that, no, you determine if it's a midlife. It's midlife. But you determine if it's going to be a crisis or not. You can put the other word behind the midlife if you want to. And I can call it a midlife celebration. Whatever I want it to be, I can do that because I got everything, the answer to all problems is inside of me. I got to keep that in mind, keep reminding myself. I'm looking for the answers all out here, and he always remind me it's in you. So you got the power to change it from a crisis to whatever you want it to be. And so that's what I started doing. I realized, man, I ain't got but one life. It's about, okay, I'm midway, so that means I'm gonna live to be 100. And I say that sometimes in my prayers and just out loud. And then I start trying, positive confession and faith confessions. I believe in that. God seen some of that. Because actually, I got to go back to faith. I seen something I asked for come out exactly multiple times in prison like I asked for. I asked for God to bring Charlene Johnson back to recant, record it or write it on paper. And he did it exactly like that. Caitlin witnessed. He did it exactly like that. And when it happened, I said, dang, I asked that. And when she came back, and I said, well, God went back to court in 97 and didn't get out on it. I said, well, God, hold up now. I asked you this, and you brought it back, and you brought everything. But you know what? How simple he said? He said, you didn't ask for that to be the thing that brought you out. You just asked for her to come back, recant, record it, or write it down to some of them people, the DA or whatever. See, that was my way of thinking, but he let me know you left out the most important part. And he let me know, be specific for now. That's why he was telling me from that. Be specific, mister. And I'm telling you, it's real. Small stuff. I was sitting in my cell. Me and this old man had been down like 40 years, an Indian man, and this other brother I knew from the streets. We were having a Bible study. We was in there talking, and I said, man, we've been here for an hour or so talking now. Got the Bibles out, and I said, man, I don't mind having me a burger, boy. I ain't had no real cheeseburger. I was at Pastor Tank Correctional. And we was in the school block. I was going to school a lot. And I said, man, a burger with some tomatoes, some onions, and cheese, probably a double cheeseburger. I said, yeah, who is it? He said, man, this DC. He worked in the kitchen. I said, what's up, man? Older guy from DC. So I opened the door. He was like, what's up? He said, man, you ain't gonna believe it. Man, I had these burgers, man. My boss man let me bring from the kitchen and gave them to me. Danielle Williams, God bless his dead. He dead now. I don't know where the older Indian guy that been down a long time. All of us looked at each other. The older Indian guy, he was like, because he was shocked that them burgers, and I pulled it out, it was exactly what I wanted. Double cheeseburger with onions and tomatoes and stuff on it. And pickle, because I like it all the way. And that's what came. He would let me know then, it ain't only on big stuff you can be specific on. It's on the small stuff that you think small. I give you what you want. That's what he would let me know with that. But anyway, I'm gonna leave that. What are saying?
That was perfect. That was perfect. You answered
Try.
it.
Try and believe it. What happened? Try. That's all I can tell you. Try.
That's right.
That's what I did. That's what I did.
That's right. So we're talking about living life, embracing life. You've been traveling, you've been speaking, you've been pouring into us, you've been trying new restaurants. How else have you been able to discover new passions and interests that reflect who you are and who you want to be in this next phase, right? A lot of times I think Jay mentioned earlier this movie that teaches you that we think about purpose as this thing that you find, but really purpose is your destination, right? I think it's Soul, a Disney Pixar movie, right? What have you been doing? How have you been discovering your passions and your purpose in this time?
Really just, I was told one time, if I could put a camera up, somebody can put a camera up without you knowing, you can find out what you're good at and what your purpose is. Because a lot of times you do it every day, but you think it got to be something real huge and big, And people think they don't have no talent because I always thought I was the most untalented cat in the world when I was a young teenager. And I thought cause people could talk, but I know why now my best thing was talking because I know what God called me to do. But I didn't understand and about the talents and gifts. You got to tell me, because I'm about to go off again to something else. But y'all excuse me. I try to speak as it come to me. She asked me the questions, and I try to, but it's like, I don't know if my spirit wants to say what it's supposed to say, because we all one spirit in here, because we got one purpose. And once I found out that we all connected like that, it's like I try to always be from here and not here, because this right here is really just doing something. It can be diluted. It can be, messed up. It can be interfered with. But coming from spirit to spirit, it can't be interfered with. So that's why I try to go as it comes, as I say, as it comes to me. It might seem like you're getting off topic, but your spirit, my spirit, all our spirit know what the topic, what need to be said. Cause even though all of us sitting in here looking nice and neat and clean and happy, we got some stuff going on in our lives as human beings. That's what I learned about being out here. I learned that I'm supposed to be telling people about life. I'm like a man on the other side of that glass looking in at everything. That's how I feel when I'm everywhere. I feel separated from everybody. I feel like it's a see-through curtain over here where I'm at and where everybody else at. I always been like that even when I was a kid. It was like, but I didn't know it was all part of the plan. I didn't know that I have to be untainted to all the problems that go on around me so I can be unbiased when I talk and say stuff. And because people, I can love Caitlin, and I don't say to her what's supposed to be said to her because of the love and the relationship I got to her. And a lot of us have those issues, like with my mother, be straight up. I got stuff I had to say to my mama that's God. That's like 99%. She ain't 100. God is only 100. But my mom is the closest thing to God, all our mothers to God. But I had to tell her some things that I know was right. And I had to be able to look past that love that I have for her and tell her. So I know that it's a lot of stuff that need to be said in here, that need to be said the right way, because it's something that came to me down here that I got to say. I was going to stand up and say it in there. When I said I was disappointed because of the expectation I have for the people that fight in this fight. Reverend Barber, God bless the dead, Reverend Spearman, everybody in this room, everybody that's not in this room, the people in the wheelchairs, the older, the people that I've seen and heard about. But I put all of y'all on a pedestal because of what you do. You saved lives. My life was saved by y'all. My life was saved. I was dead and gone. When I went to court in 2019, that was my last shot. We would have to get some evidence that come from heaven. We would have to have a miracle for me to get out that day. Didn't nobody know that. I had to remind my mother, my daughter, everybody that day when I went to court, if that judge had went the other way and God hadn't turned his heart to do what his will, what he wanted him to do, I would have had to go back to prison for the rest of my life. I already had 1,000 years in my pocket every day I had to carry around on a card, 1,000 years, 999. So I would have been dead in the water. But God moved and set me free and brought me out here. And I know what I'm supposed to do. And it's really to tell people, about life, man, about life and living. Because, everybody in here breathing got life, but a lot of us ain't living. Everybody got life. It's not enough to just have life, man. It's not enough. It's not enough. I'm telling you, I look at everybody here, and I know one day all of us going to be gone. And I always say this to everybody. I say, man, you know what? I ain't seen my aunt that died, Sharon. I just had a friend die. My other cousin died. My best friend died. I ain't seen them since, but in a dream, because there ain't no coming back. So that tells me there ain't no coming back. You ain't got but one shot. And I don't understand why people don't realize you ain't got but one time, one shot at this thing. You don't have but one. And once it's over with, it's over. I ain't going to see Caitlin no more. I ain't going to see her dad no more. I'm not gonna see none of y'all no more, Brittany. I'm not gonna see none of y'all no more. We're not gonna see each, even when we get to heaven. We're gonna be spirit. We're not even gonna have these whole where people think you will, but you're not even gonna have this look. We're not gonna see each other no more. And this side is not the most important side. You got to say that to yourself every day. But it's life. It's life. Go ahead.
Woo! You sort of started going into one of the other questions that I was going to ask is, you know, we do only have one life. What is your advice to people who might struggle to fully visualize and build the life that they want, right? It's people that's out here, they're free, they've been free, and they're not living to their full potential. They might be scared or something might be holding them back. What is your advice to people who may not feel emboldened to truly live that one life that they have?
Well, one thing, a lot of people think when you say that you got to have money to be able to go travel or do stuff, that's not even what I'm talking about, really. But when it comes to your life, you got to do whatever you got to do. Cut off whoever you got to cut off. But you got to get dirty with it. You got to say, man, this is my life. I ain't got but one, and I'm going to get it. Just like I had to do when I was in prison. To get my life back, what we had to do? We had to get down and dirty. We had to fight for real. That's why this is the perfect place, because I know how to fight. That's one thing I do. I'm hard-headed, I'm stubborn, and I don't give up. You got to go all out when you fight for freedom and life and liberty, and you got to be willing to lay it down on the ground. It sounds good if you got to crawl there, if you got to be drugged there, in a wheelchair, in a walker. That's what you got to do when it comes to that one important life that you have. You know, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, do it crying, do it mad, do it whatever way you got to do it. That's what we did to get me back out here, to get me back into this life, this side of it. That's what Caitlin and Teresa and Jim, Jamie, Al, Reverend Barbara, Reverend Spearman camping outside of the governor's mansion in the tent. People won't even be willing to do that. I was like, he was doing it for me, and I didn't even want to go out there at the time. And I'm saying, this man, but guess what it did? It lit a fire under me. And I said, man, now this man don't even know me like this. He ain't nobody paying him. Ain't nobody patting him on the back for somebody to do something like that. And the stuff that y'all done did, that y'all know that y'all done did. And you know, I love my ancestors. That's why I say, but they gone, they on the other side. I got to give the flowers to the people that's over here now. I got to talk to the people that's here now that's still in this fight, still fighting for me and everybody else.
We receive that. We receive that. I want to do a quick time check. It's 3:30. It's 3:30. We have 15 minutes left. I was planning to leave some time at the end for questions if folks had any questions for Dontae, but I also want to remind us of our homework is that our amazing recorder, Aaron, is going to help us. A question to the group is, what do you think a future headline may be that would reflect real progress on this issue? And what do you think are key questions that should be framing this work around freedom, purpose, wrongful convictions? We're not going to answer now, but I just want to remind you that question is coming at the end because we have to report back tomorrow. And so I want to get a sense of, I'm pretty sure there are questions in the room for Dontae. I want to get a sense of how many, so I know how many more questions that I have to go through before I turn it over to y'all to bring y'all into the conversation. Okay, so we got one. That's it? Just one? 2, okay, 3. All right, so I'll make this my last question, and then okay. All right, yeah, this is gonna be my last question, and then we'll start passing the mic. So it seems like everywhere we look now, there are attacks on our rights, there are attacks on our freedoms. How have your experiences helped you approach this work in the movement, in this fight? What advice do you have for us in this fight with you? And what would you like to see next? I know that's 3 questions in one, so you can pick it apart. You can pick and choose what you want to answer. But how have your experiences shaped you to be in this fight with us in this moment? How can we best support you?
Well, my experiences, first off, you know, even though it was bad what I went through, but it was good at the same time because it molded me and cleansed me and healed me and delivered me. It did a lot of multiple things to me, for me, with me. and it prepared me for this, you know. Sometimes, like I said, I want to step back, but that's what it did. You know, it seemed bad, but it worked out for my good according to the Bible. That's something else I've seen that's true a lot of time, you know, the bad stuff. I hate to say it 'cause I hate bad stuff, but it still worked for our good if we, again, know this and have some help to get through it. Because you ain't going to get through some of the bad stuff by yourself and be able to see it as turning out to be a good thing or beneficial to you. Second.
All right.
Second question.
Just how can we support you in
Just
this
break it
fight,
down.
and what do you want to see next in the movement? And then we'll turn it over to you all.
Well, you always support me by doing what you're doing. I'm learning from everybody every time I come to one of the events. And in the future, what I want to see, that question there's kind of, I guess I want to see what everybody else want to see. You know, an end to racism, poverty, slavery. Because, you know, we might think slavery gone, but we still, you know, it's just a different form. It's just a different way. You know, I know I seen something do. I want to say a lot of people don't believe that what we do, that there is a systemic racism. People really don't believe that. I can't believe it. I just found that out. That a lot of people do not believe there is system. I said, how can you live in this country and say that? Now, I can understand, but it's a lot of the people that's most impacted by it is us, and we were some of the main ones that you don't believe in systemic racism. A lot of them really don't know what it is, but not to believe that these systems have been set up from way back here that's founded in the foundation of this country. You know, that's an unbelievable thing to me. But that's what I want to see most of all, is people's eyes really get open so these rooms will be more full. These different marches, when I see them and be at them, and I was shocked by all the complaining and running your mouth, but it should be more people out there. You know, that's what I want to see, is more people's eyes and hearts get open to see what the truth really is, and maybe that's when it'll all fall into play. But I don't know, and for that to happen, we might not never see it, our children might not never see it, but I believe, I'm gonna be optimistic. I believe that it'll happen before Jesus come back or after.
Dontae. I don't have a question, but I want to tell you something that you may and may not know, and the people in the rooms don't know. But I wanted to let you know that Reverend Spearman, around about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, called my number and wanted to know, where's Al? Where would you think Al would be? He's right here. He's right here. And he said, and he was talking so fast I couldn't even understand what he was saying. He said, well, you let Al know. I'm going up here and I'm going to stand in front of the house, the governor's house, until Dontae is out, until Dontae gets what he needs to be getting, whatever, Kate or whatever it was. I said, you want me to tell him now? Yeah, I want you to let him know that I'm on my way to Raleigh right now. And I said, Al, Spearman is gone. I mean, I'm thinking he's going crazy. I said, but here's the phone. So Al was sleeping, but he hears Spearman talking. So he sat up on the side of the bed, and he said, Spearman, you don't need to be going up there by yourself. You know, I'm going by myself. You can call whoever you want to, but I'm going. I'm going to stand out there in front of the governor's house until he is whatever he needs to get done. So Al looked at me, and I'm like, Al, I don't know what to say. You know, and so I said, okay, we'll call somebody in Raleigh to meet him there. So I just want to let you know that there's a lot of things went behind the scene that you weren't aware of, but thank God it worked out. And that's the one thing that I can say, when it happened, you know, I was crying, I was happy, but that is one story I definitely, you may know about it, but you don't think you know about the part him calling us, telling that he's going to Raleigh at 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, he did that, and it worked out, and thank God for that.
Again, that's y'all type of people. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all do. That's what I witnessed. That's what I seen.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and your insights with us. As you're doing the advocacy piece of this work now, one of the things I've struggled with in criminal justice work, back when I was working to try to end the death penalty and representing people on death row, is the push and pull of like making incremental progress in the face of this massive injustice. So like getting life without parole was helping to get fewer people sentenced to death. So it was seen as a big victory, but it led to a lot more people getting L.I.F.E. And so now it's like we've got to end the death penalty, and we have to abolish L.I.F.E, and we have to abolish mass incarceration, life without parole. And it just how you balance this sort of like the big vision of we got to end systemic racism and mass incarceration with, and what are the things we need on the way. And
from what I sit and think about a lot, 'cause I get a lot of time to think, and I'm a thinker. They say that's why my hair went bald back this way, because they say thinkers go bald in the middle, like George Jefferson start like that. That's what they say. I seen a study on that when I was locked up. I did a lot of reading on stuff, but I'm a thinker, and I sit around and think a lot. I think about everything you just said. Like today, I won't even sleep tonight. I don't sleep anyway, 'cause I got a little PTSD, so I don't sleep. And I'm always thinking about stuff like that, and stuff I see on the news, TV, and every time I learn something, it goes in me, and this how it does. It's like, now how can you say this to somebody? I can't do nothing. Like what y'all say to me, I hear, it'll come in. Now how can you say it? It just, and I be trying not to do it. It just, sometimes I think what's that word when something wrong with your brain and it comes in, but anyway, I think that you got to take yeah. Deja vu. Thank you. But you have to take with this I've learned through our fight, 10 years, Caitlin, almost 10 years? I learned that dealing with this system and the fight, especially with wrongful conviction, but not only wrongful conviction, but the criminal justice fight in the system, it's a slow process, one, because they know how to manipulate the calendar to get before the judges. They know how to manipulate time, even though we know we can't change or manipulate time, but you can manipulate the calendar. That's a representation of time. They can keep getting continuous. And I learned it's gonna take a long time. It takes baby steps. You get a big step, and then you got to go back to baby step. Then you might get a back step where you step back, and then you go back to the baby step till you get to another big step. So it's like different steps, but most of the time it seems like baby steps. It takes time, but you will get there with the help of everybody, with all of the person that you're fighting for, people that you're fighting for. They have to do something. If it ain't nothing but believe that what the people on the outside are doing for them, you have to do something. Everybody got their part, and it's gonna be here a little, there a little, like the Bible say. It's not gonna be boom, just pull it all out. That's why all the marches everybody do, y'all do all the different organizing, and it's a lot to go with it, and it's a lot of moving parts, shuffling sometimes, stepping sometimes, but it's here a little, there a little.
Have it up. But I will ask this question. One, I want to speak to what you mentioned. I don't know your name. I'm sorry. But in the work to abolish the prison industrial complex, all you all who are doing that day in, day out, that is a serious work. And I think the biggest thing is a faith tradition. I had, when I first got engaged in that work, I stepped away from Christianity, as young black radicals be doing. And, so I didn't have a faith tradition. I was engaged in this work in a very material way. And I realized I needed one, in that type of work. But that's a long conversation for later. My question though, first, Dontae, I appreciate you sharing your story. Very powerful. I didn't know what I signed up for coming into this room. I'm like, man, they set me up. This is it's very real though, and I appreciate you being true and authentic to it, letting it fuel your work. I'm curious though about your outlook on the 17-year-olds like that are in your position or in the position you were in when you were 17, and really more so the 15, 16-year-olds? What should our work be with that population in this moment who are doing that day in, day out, like you may have been in that time?
Well, man, I think about that a lot because, like you said, when I got locked up, I was 23 days after I turned 18. And you're not fully, I just learned, another one of them revelation God gave me, I just learned that for me, he just told me probably about a year ago that my mind was not fully formed at 17. It just came on like a light bulb again. He actually let me know, you really did not know the seriousness of what was going on. You was a novice, you were naive, because I actually thought the police, you couldn't tell me, even though I didn't like the police at the time, you couldn't tell me that the police would have framed me for a murder I didn't do. You couldn't never tell me that they were that crooked to break the law and call themselves breaking the law to keep the law. You could never tell me that. I always thought when I heard them guys come out talking about jail and the police, they were just mad because they got caught doing what they were doing. That's what I thought. I just knew that when I did something wrong, I knew that I was wrong. But when I ain't did nothing wrong, you ain't gonna make me say that I did it wrong. And that's what helped me stand too when I was in there. But I come to realize that I lost my train of thought again. My mind be going everywhere when I'm talking, because I would picture when I was talking the day they picked me up and I was 17. I actually didn't realize, I thought they were gonna take me down to the police department, question me or something, and let me go, because I knew I didn't do it. But I didn't know they already had they plan together. So at 17, God just let me know that your mind, you were not mature enough to understand what was happening to you and what was gonna happen to you. And it didn't happen while I was in prison. It happened, the reality, when I really realized that, well, when I was about ready to turn 50, about 49 years old, that's when I really found that out. That I really was not, because a lot of people don't, you don't sit around and think about, am I mature enough or this and that? You don't think about that. And you're not at 17, your brain is not really fully functional. And anybody with their common sense know you're not. 17 years old, come on, man. 20 years old, you still not. 21 years, some people 60 years old and still ain't. To be real with it, That's another story. But yeah, 17 years, I really think about it because I got a grandson that's 10 and he coming up. And everybody don't understand my urgency or why I get on him like that. I done been dogged because of the way I do my grandson. But they don't know. I see where you going if you make the wrong decision, the wrong step. And the thing is, it's easy to get in, but it's hell to get out of. And I want to keep them from doing it. I literally had to tell my daughter that. A couple of nights ago, she came to the house. Well, you this and that. She just dogged me out a couple of nights ago. I said, now you ain't gonna make me cry this time. I said, I'm gonna let you live with this because I don't let nobody talk to me like you talk to me. I'll make them have to hurt me or I hurt them. She totally dogged me and I let it go. You my son, this my son. I said, let me tell you, my granddaughter name's Zanara. I said, she's a girl. She's gonna be a black woman in this country. The odds gonna be stacked against her, but she's still gonna have a better chance than him. Because black males in this country trying to leave from being a male and become a man is hard in this country. And I know where he going. That's what I told her. I said, I know where he going if you make the wrong misstep. And you don't take but one. It don't take but one misstep. It's already stacked against you. You already got a target on your back. And that's what I feel about young people, period. Just be careful, man. Be smart, man. Forget the following and the peer pressure. Make the right decision. Listen, as a matter of fact, listen to your elders, man. The elders that care about you. Most likely the ones that raised you, man. But I really do, does my heart go out to them. It really does, man, because I know how I felt. Because as soon as they got me, that girl told me, you want to call my girlfriend at the time. I said, girlfriend? Call my mama. That's what I do. To my girlfriend. But yeah, that's it though, brother. I do, man. My heart go out to them, and I try to. Matter of fact, I got to go speak to some young people in August, and I won't gonna do it because I felt like that ain't what I would call for, but I'm gonna do whatever is put before me, and that's really important because that's the future.
Yeah. So what I've listened to you, I didn't realize you were in there for 26 years. That's a long time. And we know mutual people that are still in prison, and they still, have to be behind that wall. I know in a sense we all are free, right? We're free to breathe, but there's a certain sense of suffering you go through when you're away from your family, having to go through physical torment, spiritual torment. My question to you is, and you kind of alluded to this, but how did you keep the faith throughout all that time? Because that just suffering can be tough, right? So how did you keep the faith?
How did I keep the faith? I made it hard when I first started getting into faith and God, and I kind of made it hard like most people do, because it's not something that you're used to. Believe in something I don't see. My mama always talked about God and the Bible and be shouting in the house and knocking over furniture and talking about hallelujah. You know what I'm saying? So I had to find out for myself. But I learned that to be simple, and see, God's so simple. I'm telling you, he'll make you feel like you stupid. That way you know it's God. Because he'll say something, you be like, man, that's all it is. Because we make it more complicated. Because we're taught and raised that more complicated is better. But God try to simplify stuff for you and say, no, it ain't. This is all you got to do. The Bible says plainly, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And you know what I did? I immersed myself in studying the Bible. I used to quote the Bible to myself when I would walk around, memorize scriptures on whatever subject I was going through. I tried it. I heard people say it, so I tried it. I write down the scriptures, and I will read them to myself. Some of them I wrote in the palm of my hand. I'd be working out on a weight pile, and I would be reading them, or I'd take my little Bible outside. But I kept the word before my eyes, dealing with freedom, deliverance, and stuff like that. That's what I did. I put them around my mirror because I was told that. I tried it. I put encouraging things dealing with faith around me. But once I heard that faith and the word were the same, I had to get if I wanted more faith, I had to get all the word in me. That's what I learned, and I tried it, and it worked. And after a while, it was time that, don't get me wrong, all that faith you put in it, the devil gonna come try that faith in you now. Okay, you believe? I'm gonna see then, sucker. Let's take you back to court and get denied in 97. Let's go to court again. What was it? Federal court, got denied again. Let's file this, got denied again. Went all the way up to the highest court, got denied. Come back down, got denied again. Go back up, get denied again. Go to court. Offer me, please. I could have got out. Don't get me wrong. I could have got out probably 5 times. They offered me anything but a dismissal in the county jail. They said, we'll give you any plea you want, long as we don't have to dismiss, and we'll let you go home right now. Then they offered time served. But they literally gave me that kind of plea. Anything but a dismissal, so you can write the ticket, long as you don't say dismissal. They told me that when I was in the county jail. So I kept my faith, man. It was so hard to keep my faith with that when I could have it don't take faith to say, okay, one day, let me out. You know what I'm saying? It don't take faith to do that, because I can see that. I can do that. It's in my power to do it. But when you have faith, you putting your confidence and trust in something that you can't see. That's the hard part about faith, is not seeing it. But the word makes it so you can see it. The word makes it so you can see it. And if you can see it, you can believe it and you can get it. And that did it, and it worked. It took time. It took time, but it worked. But it was the word, keeping the word in my mind. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I read it all the time and were perfect in it all the time. But that ain't what God looking for nowhere. Because the perfect in the Bible is 2 things. It's complete and it's mature. Now, which one is you at the time? I just will make a mature decision. Let's go, y'all. Let's get out of here. They ain't going to keep running my mouth.
So I don't have a question, but I know we're right there at that lunchtime, so I could not leave without talking directly to you in front of these folks, and let you know that I remember 2019 when you did get out, and if you notice during that time, I knew that you were a man of principle, but I didn't know a lot about you. I had been around your family and had formed those relationships. So when the day that you walked out, I wasn't trying to get overly close. I knew your story. I wasn't trying to be in photos with you. I was just waiting on you to, when you need me, reach out, and we had that relationship. But since then, I always correct you when you say that you're doing us a favor or that we're babysitting you. And no, you have created impact within the organization, within this network, within this ecosystem that I don't think you fully understand, in ways that I just observe. Even when we were riding around, all 6'6" of Dontae was in my small car, riding around, doing apartment sort of things. I'm like, just listening to you talk, I'm like, yeah, you are dropping gems in your normal conversation that I don't think you really fully understand. That like the impact that it's having on me, and the way that observing just the way that you move and the way that you live, it speaks to me without you directly speaking to me. So being a man of principle, but also you think you're real until you're around somebody who's real. And I think that's you, like until you're around somebody who's not code switching, who is himself in every room, you don't realize how much closer to authenticity you could be if you really wanted to be. And one thing I've also said before is that I think a lot of times we adopt these things and we call them tact or like decorum, but it's actually us not being as truthful as we could be. And like you break through that daily and every time we interact. I had a couple of other things. What was the other thing? It's just, I came in this room, I was gonna support the room because like I've always wanted to be in, like once you started talking about what this session was gonna be, as opposed to what we had initially planned, I'm like, I wanna be in that room, but I thought I was gonna be more so just hanging and kind of doing some of that support work. But I'm like, I was supposed to be here because I didn't come in this room, or today, I didn't start today in the best mood or the best spirit. And I was just like, yeah, I was supposed to be here. Because I've been, for the last few years, I've been like ruminating on like, what is purpose? What is my purpose? Like, am I gonna reach that purpose within this lifetime? All right, I'm about to, so I just want to say, I don't cry on camera. I'll cry in public, but not on camera. No, I'm good. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to leave you with that. So I'm like, I want you to know that you were brought to us for a reason, and you were brought in this room for a reason. There was a shift in the content of this panel or this discussion for a reason. So.
Well, man, I'm gonna say this, man, and you know, I ain't nothing. You know, I always, when I was a kid, I always struggled with self-esteem. And he let me know where that came from. But as I got older, I learned to just overcome that because my low self-esteem, he let me know. I said, God, why? Because I used to fight quick. Don't say nothing about me. You know, and he let me know that my mama had a way of joking when I was little. That's how God, I said, God, why am I get angry if somebody say something I don't like or say something about me when I was little and be ready to fight? My mama said, boy, you got to get that angry. And he let me know. He said, he shot the picture. I was in prison, crossed my mind. I had to go tell my mama this too. She ain't like it at first. I said, Ma, you remember you used to say, boy, you ugly. Get away from here. Get your ugly tail. And I was so little and young, this small. That's my God once again. So you creating me in the image that you saying to me. And he took it back there. So he gonna take you back to the foundation when you ask him about your issues. He ain't gonna take you here with a tree already up here, 20 feet tall. He gonna say, look, they're gonna take you to the root. And he took me back to the root, to my mama. And do you know I had to go out there and tell my mama, God told me you the one gave me a lot of my insecurity. But she didn't know it was serious because that's just the way she did. But get your ugly tail on here. And she did it so much because you do something long enough, you digging it in me. And that's what he let me know. So as I got older, I had to wrestle with that. And he let me know that I grew out of it, but he also let me know you have to be humble. And not false humility, but I had to learn how to kind of, to cut it short is, y'all make me want to be like I am. It's like a mirror again, it's like a reflection. The people that I deal with and I'm around make me want to be a better version of me. Because that's what I believe we're supposed to do with each other. You know, I just asked Wanda the other day, I said, I don't want to be with you or around you if I can't help improve you. I will leave you before I do that, before I subtract from you and not add to you. And I believe we supposed to, and that's what y'all did for me and everybody that I dealt with and deal with on a regular basis is how I am, is how y'all are to a degree. Y'all just don't know it. Because I'm getting what I get What y'all are bringing it out of me. Y'all making me better. Y'all making me want to be humble and forthright and things like that.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Dontae. Thank you. Thank you. I want to just take a, oh. And then, all right. And then really quickly, thinking about our homework that our master facilitator reminded us of, if there's one headline that we would like to see that would impact this work, right? If there's one, popcorn it out, and Aaron will take it down. And then if you have any questions that you think we should be grappling with as it relates to this work, popcorn it out, Aaron will take it down, so we'll have it for our report back. Or either you can just go over and share with her directly.
So I had two points to make. One is I want to introduce to your vocabulary the word scrim, S-C-R-I-M. Write it down. You can look it up and study on it. Scrim is when you go to a theater or any kind of auditorium, is a screen that they put down. It's the kind, you've seen them, if you shine light behind it, you can, and you're sitting out in the audience, you can see stuff going on behind. They use it for scenes of heaven, and they use it for actors trying to act out dreams and ideas they have. You'll get some ideas if you just look it up on Google. Scrim. It'll help you on that one problem. You keep dancing around that idea of how to express that. The other is to remind you that the reason why when Caitlin brought the facts of your case to me at my house and we read it over, and she said, "What do you think?" And I said, "He's innocent as hell. Get him out of there." Guess how old I was and I had just gone to law school. Guess how old I was when I went to law school? 50 years old. All right. So I would be glad to help you consider in the back of your head while you're doing all this crazy thinking at night. I could certainly get you in Central anytime you want to. In my honor, we'll get a special seat over there called the McShirley Sharpe seat. And one other thing we did, Cash Michael's a good friend of mine. I think you've met him. The best filmmaker in North Carolina, certainly. If you want me to, I'm going to talk to him about getting this down as a movie. It should be in Hollywood, but we've got to get this made into a movie. Okay. All right.
That is it. We have run over our time. We've got to get the changeover for the next session, but don't forget to see Aaron with your questions that we should be grappling with, please. We need one or two, and a future headline that we would like to see. Thank you all so much.